The Zethian High Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Krell straightened his translucent mandibles, preparing to address the unified empire. 12,000 star systems waited for his verdict on humanity. After 3 years of observation, the decision would finally come. The species from the blue planet, Krell began, his voice resonating through quantum speakers, presents an anomaly we cannot ignore. Our initial assessment deemed them manageable. Primitive weapons. Limited territorial expansion. Moderate intellectual capacity. Supreme Chancellor Vexthor leaned forward, his crystalline exoskeleton glinting under the chamber's ethereal light. The other council members remained motionless, their various forms, gaseous, aquatic, silicon-based, hovering in their designated spaces. However, Krell continued, activating a holographic display, our deepest surveillance has uncovered something troubling. The council watched as data streamed across the projection. Images of Earth rotated slowly, blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. Nothing remarkable. What we discovered, Krell said carefully, concerns their planetary environment. Specifically, their weather patterns. A low hum of confusion rippled through the chamber. Weather? The word seemed almost comical in translation. Krell pressed forward. On their world, temperatures fluctuate between -80 and +60 Celsius. They experience phenomena they call hurricanes, rotating storms with winds exceeding 200 km per hour. Lightning strikes their surface approximately 100 times every second. They endure earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and tornadoes simultaneously across different regions. Still, the council seemed unimpressed. Vexthor gestured impatiently. And yet, Krell's voice dropped, humans not only survive this, they thrive. They build civilizations. They create art. They compose music. They fell forests with primitive tools and farm land that regularly tries to kill them. A Zethian scientist named Thelox interjected, surely this makes them less advanced. Environmental struggle typically stunts development. That, Krell said, is what I initially believed. But observe their behavior. When catastrophe strikes, and it strikes constantly, they do not flee. They rebuild. Often in the same location. They lose everything to hurricanes and return the next season. They lose loved ones to earthquakes and comfort each other. They develop technologies not to escape their world, but to withstand it. The chamber grew colder. Furthermore, Krell continued, pulling up psychological profiles, this constant exposure to random death has forged something extraordinary in their psychology. They do not fear the unknown. They investigate it. They climb into volcanoes. They dive into hurricane-force storms. They deliberately enter situations that would cause instantaneous psychological collapse in most sentient species. Vexthor's form began to tremble slightly. You're suggesting what, exactly? I'm suggesting, Krell said slowly, that humans are not surviving their DeathWorld by chance. They are surviving by developing an unmatched mental resilience. They laugh in the face of extinction. They create jokes about their planet trying to murder them. They call it weather. As if it's merely an inconvenience. A gaseous council member named Zisera began oscillating rapidly, a sign of extreme distress. This is absurd. One species cannot be that. There's more, Krell interrupted. Our xenopsychologists discovered something remarkable. Because humans evolved under constant threat, they developed what they call team mentality. When one human faces a natural disaster, nearby humans voluntarily risk their own lives to help. This cooperation appears to be involuntary. Hardwired. They cannot help but save each other, even strangers. The council fell into absolute silence. Additionally, Krell added with barely concealed concern, they are spreading. In less than 2 centuries of space travel, they've established settlements on 17 hostile worlds. Worlds that would require complete environmental suits for other species. Yet humans adapt. Within generations, their children are playing in alien dirt, treating previously uninhabitable planets like gardens. Vexthor stood abruptly, his entire crystalline form crackling with energy. "What do you recommend, Ambassador?" Krell met his gaze firmly. "I recommend we immediately declare humans a protected species and establish them as the universal standard for dangerousness. Any civilization deemed a threat to humans should be considered existential hazard to all sentient life. I further recommend we offer them the position of Imperial Defense Forces. Beings who can laugh while lightning falls from their sky and earthquakes crack their home. Who develop unbreakable bonds with strangers. Who see impossible odds and say, 'Challenge accepted.' They can have any position they want." The council erupted in what could only be described as panicked agreement. Within the hour, the message had spread across the Empire. Humanity was not to be conquered. Humanity was to be understood, respected, and, most importantly, kept as allies. On Earth, humans remained blissfully unaware that mentioning their weather had just changed the entire political structure of the galaxy.